Commander Ryan Cole straightened his uniform as the airlock door hissed open. This was the moment humanity had waited for. First official contact with the Galactic Confederation. His heart beat fast, but his face showed nothing but calm confidence. "Remember," he said quietly to his crew, "we represent all of Earth today." Lieutenant Olivia West nodded beside him. As the ship's science officer, she had studied everything they knew about alien biology. It wasn't much. The aliens that stepped through the doorway were tall and thin. Their skin shimmered with a blue-green light that pulsed gently. Ambassador Zyrtak of the Neferi led the group, towering over the humans. "We welcome Earth to the greater galactic community," Zyrtak said. The words came through the translation device with a slight delay. "Though we must discuss certain limitations." Ryan didn't like the sound of that. Limitations. The meeting room on the space station was large but felt small with the aliens present. Charts and data scrolled across screens as the Confederation representatives explained their concerns. "Your species is quite fragile," said one alien scientist, pointing to human biological readings. "Your bodies cannot withstand extended deep space conditions." Olivia stepped forward. "With respect, we've adapted to space travel quite well. Our astronauts have." "Near-planet orbits are not deep space," interrupted Ambassador Zyrtak. "The radiation, time distortion, and psychological effects would destroy human minds and bodies within months." Ryan watched as the aliens showed recordings of their own species in deep space. Some could hibernate for years, others had natural radiation protection in their skin, and some could even survive in vacuum for short periods. "We offer Earth-limited membership," Zyrtak continued. "You may travel within your solar system and use approved trade routes with our supervision, for your own safety." The words stung worse than any insult. Ryan looked at his crew's faces and saw the same anger and disappointment he felt. "Perhaps we could demonstrate our capabilities," Ryan suggested. The aliens agreed to a demonstration. It went badly. In a simulator that reproduced conditions from deep space, Ryan and 2 crew members showed signs of space adaptation syndrome within minutes. The aliens watched with what seemed like pity. "You see," Zyrtak said gently, "no shame in biological limitations. Many species accept supervised status." Back on Earth, the debate raged for weeks. The president and world leaders argued over the Confederation's offer. Some wanted to accept the terms and gain access to alien technology. Others called it a new form of colonization. Ryan sat in a quiet meeting room with Admiral Powell and 5 other military and science leaders. "They're wrong about us," Ryan said firmly. "Humans have always adapted. We've survived in deserts, Arctic regions, mountains, and deep seas. Space is just another frontier." Dr. Allison Parker, a lead scientist on human adaptation research, nodded. "We don't need to match their biology. We need human solutions to human problems." Admiral Powell looked at each person around the table. "The president has made a decision. We will accept limited membership for now, but secretly develop our own deep space program." He turned to Ryan. "Commander Cole, we need people willing to test new technologies, new medical treatments. It will be dangerous." Ryan didn't hesitate. "I volunteer, sir." 6 months later, Ryan stood in a lab as Dr. Parker explained the first round of treatments. The neural interface sitting on the table looked both fascinating and frightening. "This will help your brain adapt to deep space conditions," she explained. "But we don't know all the side effects yet." Ryan picked up the device. "How soon can we start?" Dr. Parker smiled. "That's why I chose you for this, Ryan. The real question isn't if humans can endure deep space." She looked at the star map on the wall showing regions the aliens had declared off-limits to humans. "The question is whether space is ready for us." Ryan looked at the stars on the map and thought about the aliens' smug certainty. One day, he promised himself, humanity would sail those distant stars. and the Galactic Confederation would learn just how wrong they had been. 5 years passed since Earth's first contact with the Galactic Confederation. On the surface, humans acted like obedient junior members. Behind closed doors, they worked day and night to prove the aliens wrong. Dr. Allison Parker hadn't seen daylight in 3 days. Her lab deep beneath the Rocky Mountains hummed with activity as scientists worked on the Deep Space Human Adaptation Project. "How's our test subject doing today?" she asked, walking into the medical chamber. Major Frank Murphy lay on the examination table, neural interface nodes attached to his temples. Once a decorated fighter pilot, he now served as the primary test subject for the adaptation program. "Better than yesterday," he replied with a tired smile. "The headaches are gone." Allison checked his readings. "Your brain is adapting to the interface faster than we expected. Neural pathways are rewiring themselves exactly as we hoped." Frank sat up slowly. "When can we test it in real conditions?" "Soon," Allison said. "Admiral Powell wants a full demonstration next week." The medical team had tried many approaches over the years. Drugs to resist radiation had failed. Mechanical exoskeletons were too cumbersome. Genetic modification was too slow and dangerous. The breakthrough came when they stopped trying to make human bodies more like alien ones. Instead, they focused on what made humans special: their remarkable brain plasticity and ability to adapt. The neural interface system worked with the human brain rather than against it. It helped the mind process the strange sensations of deep space, preventing the breakdown that normally occurred. It turned the mind's natural fear responses into useful data, helping the body adjust instead of panic. 7 days later, Admiral Gregory Powell stood in the observation room of the test chamber with 20 military officials and scientists. Through the glass, they could see Frank in a simulation pod. "Show them," Powell ordered. The technicians activated the deep space simulator. Conditions inside the pod changed rapidly. Radiation increased, artificial gravity fluctuated, and time distortion effects began. On screens around the room, Frank's vital signs appeared beside videos from previous failed tests. In those old videos, test subjects became disoriented within minutes. Some vomited, others panicked. None lasted more than 20 minutes. Frank's vital signs remained steady. 1 hour passed. Then 2. "Impossible," whispered one of the visiting scientists. Powell smiled slightly. "Major Murphy, how do you feel?" Frank's voice came through clearly. "I could do this all day, sir." The neural interface glowed softly at his temples. It wasn't just helping him endure the conditions. He was thriving in them. "End simulation," Powell ordered. He turned to the stunned audience. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is just the beginning." 2 miles beneath the surface of the moon, Powell led Frank and Allison through a massive underground hangar. Hidden from Confederation monitoring satellites, Earth had been building its future. "My God," Frank whispered as the lights came on. 5 sleek ships stood in the hangar. Unlike the bulky Confederation vessels, these were designed specifically for human needs and abilities. The neural interface technology was built into every system. "Meet the ESV Defiance," Powell said, pointing to the largest ship, "our flagship," and her sister ships, Courage, Endurance, Perseverance, and Hope. Allison walked toward the nearest ship in awe. "How did you build these without the Confederation knowing?" "Very carefully," Powell replied. "And with the help of several alien species who don't agree with the Confederation's treatment of Earth." Frank placed his hand on the hull of the Defiance. "When do we launch?" Powell's answer was interrupted by an aide rushing into the hangar. "Sir, we've detected something. A distress signal from deep space, beyond the edge of Confederation territory." "What kind of signal?" Powell asked. "Confederation emergency beacon, sir. One of their research vessels is in trouble." Powell looked at the ships, then at Frank and Allison. This was both a crisis and an opportunity. The perfect chance to show what humans could really do. "Prepare the Defiance for launch," Powell ordered. "We're about to show the galaxy what fragile humans are capable of." Frank and Allison exchanged determined looks. The time had come to prove the aliens wrong. Captain Lisa Howard stood on the bridge of the ESV Defiance as the ship prepared to leave Earth's solar system. This was the moment every crew member had trained for, the first true deep space mission by humans without Confederation supervision. "All systems ready, Captain," reported Chief Engineer Kevin Martinez. He had designed much of the ship's revolutionary propulsion system. "The neural interfaces are online and functioning perfectly." Lisa nodded. The neural interface at her temple hummed gently, already helping her mind process the strange sensations of approaching deep space. 20 crew members wore similar devices. "Navigation, plot course to the distress signal," she ordered. Navigation Officer Daniel King's fingers moved across the holographic controls. Once a regular pilot, his exceptional spatial awareness had made him perfect for deep space navigation. "Course plotted, Captain. Estimated travel time: 4 days. 4 days to reach a point that should take weeks." The Defiance's engines were unlike anything the Confederation had seen. Another human solution to a problem aliens thought unsolvable. "Launch," Lisa commanded. The ship accelerated smoothly. Behind them, 2 smaller vessels, the ESV Courage and ESV Endurance, followed in formation. Earth shrank rapidly in the view screens. On the second day, they passed the boundary that marked Confederation-approved human travel limits. No human ship had officially gone beyond this point. The crew grew quiet as they crossed the invisible line. "How is everyone feeling?" Lisa asked, checking on her crew. "Neural interfaces are compensating for the increased radiation," the medical officer reported. "Some minor headaches, but nothing serious." By day 3, they encountered the first real challenge. A radiation storm appeared directly in their path, the kind that Confederation ships avoided at all costs. "Can we go around it?" Lisa asked. Kevin shook his head. "Not without adding 2 days to our journey. The distress signal indicates they don't have that much time." Lisa made her decision. "We go through. All crew, prepare for increased neural interface activity." As they entered the storm, the ship shuddered. Warning lights flashed across control panels. The neural interfaces glowed brighter as they helped the crew's minds process the chaos of radiation and spatial distortion. Several crew members groaned as their interfaces worked harder. Lisa felt pressure building behind her eyes, but she remained focused. "Stay with me, everyone," she encouraged. "Our bodies can handle this. Trust the training." Daniel gripped his controls tightly. Navigation is struggling with the interference. Switching to manual control. This was the moment of truth. The Confederation believed human reflexes and perception were too slow for manual navigation in such conditions. Daniel proved them wrong, his hands moving across the controls with incredible precision. The neural interface helped him see patterns in the storm that instruments missed. They emerged from the radiation storm 12 hours later, tired but successful. No other species had attempted such a crossing in decades. On day 4, they finally reached the source of the distress signal. A Confederation research vessel drifted in a strange area of space. Weird light patterns surrounded it, bending and shifting unnaturally. "What is that?" Lisa asked, staring at the phenomenon. "Some kind of space-time distortion," Kevin replied. "Their engines must have triggered it. They're trapped." Scans showed the alien ship was intact but unable to move. Its crew of 15 various alien species was still alive. "They're caught in a pocket of warped space-time," Daniel explained. "Their navigation systems can't make sense of it." Lisa opened a communication channel. "Confederation vessel, this is Captain Lisa Howard of the Earth ship Defiance. We're here to assist you." There was a long pause before a shocked alien voice responded. "Human vessel, how did you reach this location? This is beyond your approved travel zones." "We received your distress call," Lisa replied simply. "We came to help." "Impossible," the alien voice said. "No human physiology could withstand this journey. Identify yourselves truthfully." Lisa smiled. "I assure you, We are human, and we're about to show you what humans can do. Prepare for rescue operations." She turned to her crew. "Let's show them what fragile humans are capable of. Daniel, find us a path into that distortion field." The navigation officer nodded confidently. "Already working on it, Captain. I think I see a way through that their systems would never detect." The ESV Defiance moved forward, about to attempt a rescue that the Confederation had deemed impossible for humans. The rescue operation was unlike anything in human spaceflight history. Captain Lisa Howard watched through the main viewport as Daniel guided their ship through the rippling space-time distortion. The neural interfaces helped the crew perceive patterns that alien technology missed. "Approaching the Confederation vessel," Daniel reported, preparing for docking. The Defiance slowed as it approached the stranded alien ship. Through the viewports, Lisa could see various alien faces pressed against windows, their expressions showing disbelief at seeing a human vessel. "Engineering, prepare the rescue corridor," Lisa ordered. Kevin and his team activated the flexible tunnel that would connect the two ships. The docking procedure took 20 minutes as Daniel made constant adjustments to keep them stable within the distortion field. When the airlock finally opened, Lieutenant Scott Williams and his security team stood ready. Scott didn't trust the Confederation after years of them looking down on humans. 15 aliens of various species walked slowly through the corridor into the Defiance. Their leader, a tall being with iridescent skin, introduced herself. "I am Science Delegate Senmora. How is this possible? Humans cannot survive deep space travel." Lisa smiled slightly. "Clearly, we can. Welcome aboard the ESV Defiance." Senmora looked at the neural interfaces the humans wore. "What is this technology?" "The Confederation has no record of such devices." "Our own design," Lisa replied. "We found our own solutions to deep space travel." The rescued aliens were taken to the medical bay while Scott's security team kept watch. Communications Officer Natalie Brown was assigned to help the aliens adjust. "Your ship is unexpected," Senmora told Natalie as they walked. "Smaller than our vessels, yet you travel through a radiation storm that would damage our largest ships." Natalie nodded. "We designed our ships for our specific needs, not to copy alien designs." In the meeting room, Senmora explained their situation to the human leadership. "We were studying a stellar phenomenon when our engines triggered this space-time pocket. Our navigation systems cannot process the distortions." "What phenomenon were you studying?" Lisa asked. Senmora hesitated before answering. "A potential wave of stellar collapses. If our calculations are correct, this region of space faces a serious threat." "And that threat could eventually reach Earth?" Kevin asked. "Potentially, yes. In several decades." Lisa considered this information. "We'll help you complete your research mission." Senmora looked surprised. "You would help us even after the Confederation limited your species." "This affects all of us," Lisa replied simply. Over the next few days, the humans and aliens worked together, though not without problems. Cultural differences created frequent misunderstandings. The aliens were not used to human emotions or decision-making processes. Scott remained suspicious. One evening, he approached Lisa in her quarters. "Captain, I've been reviewing their data. The Confederation knew more about humans than they admitted. They deliberately underestimated our capabilities in their reports." "Are you certain?" Lisa asked. Scott showed her files recovered from the alien ship's database. "They have detailed studies on human adaptability. They knew we could potentially handle deep space with the right technology." Meanwhile, Natalie was making progress with the alien scientists. Despite initial awkwardness, she found common ground in their shared curiosity. "Your species approaches problems differently than ours," Senmora told her one day. "We seek to overcome challenges with technology, but you adapt yourselves to meet the challenge." Their work was interrupted when the ship's alarms blared. Scott's voice came over the communication system. "Security breach. The neural interface control room has been accessed without authorization." Lisa and Kevin rushed to the control center to find an alien trying to sabotage the neural interface systems. Security personnel had the intruder restrained. Why? Lisa demanded. The alien glared at her. Some in the Confederation believe humans should remain limited. Your adaptability makes certain species uncomfortable. Xenmora looked ashamed. I knew nothing of this, but it is true that some fear what humans might become if given access to deep space. As Lisa looked from the saboteur to Xenmora, she realized the rescue mission had turned into something much more complex. Humans had proven they could travel in deep space, but now they faced a new challenge: politics among the stars. And then the sensors detected something alarming. The stellar phenomenon Xenmora had mentioned was accelerating. They needed to act quickly, or many worlds could be in danger. The command center of the ESV Defiance buzzed with urgent activity. Captain Lisa Howard studied the holographic display showing the accelerating stellar phenomenon. What had started as a research mission had become a potential crisis. Send all data back to Earth immediately, Lisa ordered. Admiral Hill needs to see this. Communications Officer Natalie Brown nodded. Transmitting now, Captain, but it will take several hours to reach Earth from this distance. Dr. Eric Cooper, the ship's specialist in stellar phenomena, pointed at the display. These readings suggest a chain reaction of stellar collapses. If it continues, dozens of star systems could be affected within months. Earth's system could be at risk within 2 years. The aliens watched the humans work with growing respect. Xenmora approached Lisa. Your crew is handling this crisis efficiently despite the conditions. Perhaps we underestimated your species. Many have made that mistake, Lisa replied without looking up from the data. Back on Earth, Admiral Jason Hill received the transmission in the underground command center. He studied the data with growing concern before addressing the officers around him. Deploy the rest of the fleet, he ordered. The ESV Defiance needs backup. Within hours, 5 more human deep space vessels launched toward the coordinates. Each carried specialized equipment and more personnel with neural interfaces. This would be the largest human deep space operation in history. On the Defiance, Dr. Cooper developed a possible solution. If we place gravitational stabilizers at these key points, we might be able to slow the collapse enough to stop the chain reaction. Can it be done? Lisa asked. Theoretically, yes, but the stabilizers would need to be placed with extreme precision in very dangerous conditions. Before Lisa could respond, sensors detected multiple ships entering the area. A fleet of Confederation vessels appeared, led by a massive command ship. We're being hailed, Natalie reported. A stern alien face appeared on the main screen. This is Senior Confederation Commander Vrilnox. Human vessels, you are violating Confederation space restrictions. You will withdraw immediately. Lisa stepped forward. Commander Vrilnox, we're responding to a crisis that threatens multiple systems, including Earth. We have no intention of leaving. Vrilnox's expression hardened. This situation is under Confederation jurisdiction. Your presence here is illegal and unwelcome. Perhaps you should tell that to the crew we rescued, Lisa replied. The crew you couldn't save. Tension filled the air as more ships arrived from both sides. Earth's fleet joined the Defiance, while additional Confederation vessels supported Vrilnox. Xenmora tried to mediate. Commander, these humans have proven their ability in deep space. Their neural interface technology allows them to perceive the distortion patterns our systems cannot detect. That technology has not been approved. Vrilnox snapped. Humans developing unauthorized technology is precisely what the restrictions were designed to prevent. Political tensions escalated quickly. Word spread through the Confederation fleet about the human ships operating in deep space. Some alien crews were curious, others afraid, and some outright hostile. Scott monitored communications between Confederation ships. Captain, I'm picking up concerning chatter. Some vessels are discussing potential military action to seize our neural interface technology. The situation grew more complex when Admiral Hill's ship arrived. He immediately requested a joint meeting with Commander Vrilnox. This crisis affects all of us, Hill argued during the tense meeting. Dr. Cooper has developed a solution that could save countless lives. Vrelinox remained obstinate. The Confederation will handle this situation. Humans will withdraw. As the leaders argued, sensors detected a massive energy surge. The stellar collapse was accelerating faster than predicted, creating dangerous waves of radiation and gravity distortions. Captain Lisa watched the readings with growing alarm. Minutes were precious now, yet the bureaucracy continued. She made her decision. "Prepare the stabilizers," she ordered Kevin quietly. "We're implementing Dr. Cooper's plan." "Without authorization?" Kevin asked, surprised. "Without waiting for politicians to finish talking while stars die," Lisa corrected. "Contact our fleet. We're moving now." As Lisa issued commands, both Earth and Confederation officials continued their heated debate, unaware that the human captain had already chosen action over argument. The fate of countless worlds now rested on the shoulders of the very humans, once deemed too fragile for deep space. Captain Lisa Howard moved quickly, gathering her team while the officials continued their heated discussion in the meeting room. "We need our best pilots for this mission," she told Kevin. "The stabilizers must be placed in precise locations within the phenomenon." Pilot Amy Rodriguez stepped forward. "I'll lead the team, Captain. My neural interface adaptation scores are the highest on the ship." Amy had once been a test pilot on Earth. Now she would lead the most dangerous flight mission humans had ever attempted. 8 pilots from across the Earth fleet volunteered to join her. Engineer John Taylor brought in the gravitational stabilizers his team had been preparing. The devices were about the size of a small car, silver with blue lights pulsing along their sides. "These will create counterfields to slow the stellar collapse," John explained. "But they need to be placed exactly where Dr. Cooper calculated, or they might make things worse." Amy nodded. "How close to the phenomenon do we need to get?" John's face was grim. Inside it, the plan was set. Amy and her team would pilot small craft carrying the stabilizers to key points within the stellar phenomenon. The neural interfaces would help them navigate where sensors failed. Medic Paul Davis prepared the pilots. "I've modified the neural interface settings to handle extreme conditions," he told them. "But there are risks. The human brain isn't meant to process this level of space-time distortion." Amy strapped into her flight seat. "If our brains can't handle it, we'll adapt." When Commander Vrelnox discovered what the humans planned, he was furious. "This is reckless and forbidden. Your small craft cannot survive those conditions." "Our ships are designed differently," Lisa replied calmly. "And our pilots can perceive patterns your systems can't detect. This is precisely why humans were restricted from deep space," Vrelnox argued. "You take unnecessary risks." "Sometimes risks are necessary," Lisa countered. Despite the Confederation's protests, the mission launched. 9 small human craft shot toward the swirling chaos of the stellar phenomenon. Amy led the formation, her neural interface glowing brightly against her temple. "Stay focused, team," she said over the communication channel. "Let the interfaces help you see the paths." As they approached the phenomenon, the conditions became extreme. Radiation levels soared beyond what should be survivable. Gravity fluctuated wildly. Visual sensors failed completely. But the human pilots pressed on. Their neural interfaces helped their brains process what their eyes could not see, the delicate patterns and flows within the chaos. Several Confederation ships attempted to follow but quickly retreated as their systems failed in the harsh conditions. Inside her craft, Amy felt strange sensations as her neural interface worked harder than ever before. She could somehow sense the space around her in ways she couldn't explain. The distortions appeared as flowing rivers to her mind's eye. "I can see it," she told her team. "Follow my path." John stayed in constant contact from the Defiance. "The stabilizers need recalibration. The conditions are more extreme than our models predicted." He worked frantically to adjust the settings as the pilots moved deeper into the phenomenon. Every calculation had to be perfect. Medic Paul monitored the pilot's vital signs with growing concern. Their neural activity is off the charts. No human has ever experienced this level of interface connection. Rather than harming the pilots, something unexpected was happening. The extreme conditions were creating new neural pathways. The interfaces were allowing human minds to perceive space-time in ways no species had before. First stabilizer in position, Amy reported, her voice strained but determined. One by one, the team placed the devices at the exact coordinates. The work was precise and exhausting. 2 pilots lost consciousness and had to be guided back by their teammates. From the Defiance, Lisa watched the readings with growing hope. It's working. The collapse is slowing. The Confederation ships observed in stunned silence as the human small craft navigated conditions their most advanced vessels couldn't approach. The final stabilizer was the most difficult, requiring placement at the very center of the phenomenon. Amy's craft shuddered violently as she approached the position. "Systems failing," she reported calmly. Switching to manual control. Using only her neural interface and human instinct, Amy positioned the final device. As it activated, a brilliant flash of energy pulsed through the region. Then, slowly, the wild distortions began to calm. The chain reaction was breaking. The mission was succeeding, but at a cost. As Amy turned her damaged craft back toward the Defiance, she saw 3 of her team's vessels drifting powerless. The human crews had pushed themselves and their technology beyond all known limits, and the Confederation had witnessed it all. 3 weeks after the mission, Captain Lisa Howard stood in the Grand Hall of the Confederation's Central Council. The vast chamber was filled with representatives from over 200 alien species. Many had traveled for days just to see the humans who had accomplished the impossible. Lisa felt strange in her formal uniform. Her neural interface had been temporarily removed for the ceremony, leaving a small mark on her temple. Beside her stood Amy Rodriguez and 5 other crew members who had survived the mission. They were still recovering from their ordeal. "The human delegation may approach," announced the voice of Grand Arbiter Krulvox. Lisa led her team forward. The massive chamber fell silent as they walked. On a raised platform stood UN Secretary-General Maria Valdez, who had traveled from Earth for this historic moment. "The Confederation acknowledges the actions of the Earth vessels in preventing a stellar catastrophe," Krulvox stated formally. "We also recognize that our assessment of human capabilities in deep space was incorrect." Secretary-General Valdez stepped forward. "The people of Earth thank the Confederation for this recognition. We have always believed that cooperation between species benefits everyone." The formal speeches continued, but Lisa barely heard them. She was watching the faces of the alien representatives. Some showed respect, others curiosity, and a few displayed clear concern. Later, at the reception, Lisa found herself approached by Grand Arbiter Krulvox. The tall, silver-skinned alien gestured for her to follow to a private alcove. "What you and your crew accomplished was remarkable, Captain Howard," Krulvox said quietly. "But I must tell you something troubling. The original assessment of human capabilities was not merely incorrect, it was deliberately misleading." Lisa's expression remained neutral, though this confirmed Scott's suspicions. "Why?" "Some species feared human potential," Krulvox admitted. "Your adaptability exceeds anything we have seen. Most spacefaring species evolved specific traits for survival in space over millions of years. Humans instead adapt through intelligence and technology in mere decades." "You saw us as a threat," Lisa stated. "Some did. Others simply thought you needed more time to develop safely." Krulvox paused. "The neural interfaces your people created are particularly concerning to certain council members. No other species has achieved such integration between biology and technology." Meanwhile, in the medical wing of the Confederation headquarters, Dr. Parker from Earth examined the brain scans of the pilots who had placed the stabilizers. She had traveled with Secretary Valdez to check on the crew. "These neural patterns are unlike anything I've seen before," she told Medic Paul Davis. The interfaces didn't just help them survive the mission. They fundamentally changed how their brains process space-time information. Paul nodded. Amy can perceive spatial distortions even with her interface removed now. It's as if her brain rewired itself permanently. Back at the reception, Secretary Valdez and Admiral Powell were negotiating new terms for Earth's membership in the Confederation. The restrictions on human space travel were being lifted, but some alien representatives still pushed for limitations on neural interface technology. "We need assurances this technology won't be weaponized," one alien diplomat insisted. "We saved your worlds with this technology," Admiral Powell replied firmly. "We won't abandon it." As the politicians debated, Lisa slipped away to visit Amy in the medical wing. She found the pilot sitting by a window, staring at the stars. "How are you feeling?" Lisa asked. Amy turned, her eyes now with a strange, subtle glow in the darkness. "Different. I can see things others can't. Patterns in space. Flows of energy. The doctors say your brain has adapted permanently." Amy smiled slightly. "Isn't that what humans do best? Adapt." Lisa sat beside her, looking out at the alien stars. "The Confederation is revising their assessment of humans. We're no longer considered too fragile for deep space." "They still don't understand," Amy said quietly. "It was never about being fragile or strong. It was about being willing to change, to become something new when necessary." Outside the window, Earth ships now moved freely among Confederation vessels. The first step toward a new era had been taken. But as Lisa watched Amy's glowing eyes track invisible patterns among the stars, she wondered what humanity might ultimately become as they ventured deeper into space, and whether the Confederation was right to be afraid. 1 year after the crisis, Earth had changed dramatically. The first human deep space colony had been established in a system 40 light-years from home. Human ships now regularly traveled routes once thought impossible for their fragile bodies. Admiral Powell stood at the observation window of the Deep Space Academy, watching students train in the simulation chambers below. Many wore the neural interfaces that had become standard for space travelers. The academy had been built on the far side of the moon, hidden for years, but now operating openly. Dr. Parker joined him, carrying a tablet with her latest research results. "The neural adaptations are becoming more pronounced in second-generation interface users," she said. "Their brains develop different pathways from the beginning of training." "Is it safe?" Powell asked. "So far, yes. They're still human, just enhanced, better able to perceive and navigate deep space conditions." She hesitated. "Some, like Amy Rodriguez and her team, have developed abilities we never anticipated. They can sense space-time distortions naturally now." Below them, Amy was teaching a class of new pilots. Since her mission, she had become something of a legend. Her eyes still had that subtle glow in dim light, a physical sign of how deeply the neural interface had changed her. In the diplomatic wing of the academy, Ambassador Ryan Cole prepared for another meeting with Confederation representatives. The former commander had become Earth's voice in galactic politics. "The Navari delegation has arrived," his assistant informed him. Ryan nodded. It seemed like a lifetime ago that Ambassador Zyrtak had told him humans were too fragile for deep space. Now, Zyrtak was coming to request human assistance with navigation in a particularly difficult sector. "How the tables have turned," Ryan murmured to himself. The meeting went well. What had begun as reluctant respect was slowly becoming genuine cooperation. Several alien species now used modified versions of human neural interface technology, traded for access to their advanced propulsion systems. At the Research Center on Mars, John Taylor worked with alien engineers to develop the next generation of deep space vessels. The hybrid designs combined the best of human adaptability with alien technological expertise. "Your approach is so different from ours," a Confederation engineer told him. "We build technology to overcome space. You build technology to help yourselves adapt to space." John smiled. Different paths to the same destination. But not all news was positive. Reports were coming in from the edge of known space about a new threat. Strange energy signals had been detected, unlike anything in Confederation records. Initial probes sent to investigate had gone silent. In the command center, Admiral Powell reviewed the reports with growing concern. The Confederation Council had officially requested human assistance. The unknown signals seemed to specifically target neural systems, both technological and biological. They need us, Powell realized. The very adaptation that scared them now makes us uniquely qualified to investigate this threat. A new fleet was assembled, larger than any previous human space force. Captain Lisa Howard, fully recovered from her ordeal, was given command of Earth's newest vessel, the ESV Perseverance. As the crew boarded the ship, Lisa noticed many Confederation officers among them. Former adversaries, now willing students of human deep space techniques. Captain on deck, announced Scott Williams, now her first officer. Lisa took her place in the command chair. Her neural interface hummed softly, connecting her to the ship in ways that still amazed their alien allies. All ships report ready, Captain Natalie Brown informed her. Lisa looked around at her crew, human and alien working side by side. She thought about how far they had come since that first dismissive meeting with the Confederation. "Send word to all vessels," she ordered. "We depart for the unknown in 1 hour." As the joint fleet prepared to face a threat no single species could confront alone, Lisa reflected on the journey that had brought them here. Humans had not only proven they could endure deep space, they had changed what it meant to travel among the stars. And perhaps in adapting themselves to space, they had begun to chart the next step in human evolution. The stars awaited, no longer forbidden to the fragile humans of Earth.